You feel like your body changed in a way no one ever really explained to you. Your belly started getting bigger, your waistline seemed to disappear, and pants that used to fit just fine now feel tight in the middle. And the most frustrating part is this. A lot of the time, you do not even feel like you are eating that much more than before. So why is this fat showing up now? What does menopause have to do with it? And most importantly, is there a real way to reduce belly fat after 50 without falling for empty promises? If you are over 50 and you have noticed changes in your midsection, this video is for you. Because this is not laziness, it is not neglect, and it is not some personal failure. What is happening has a lot to do with real biological changes that become much more powerful during this stage of life. Menopause changes the hormonal environment of the female body, and those changes affect far more than mood, sleep, and energy. They also change the way your body stores fat. For a large part of life, the female body tends to store more fat in areas like the hips, thighs, and buttocks. But as estrogen levels fall, that pattern begins to shift. Many women go into menopause expecting hot flashes, sleep problems, or emotional ups and downs. What they do not always expect is a quieter and, for many, more upsetting change. Body fat starts moving toward the center of the body. The belly that was never really a problem before begins to show up, feel firmer, and become much harder to ignore, even when total body weight has not changed very much. That is what leaves so many women confused. Sometimes the number on the scale does not skyrocket. In some cases, it barely changes. But your clothes tell a different story. Your waistband feels tighter. The front of your pants feels uncomfortable. Your stomach looks more pushed forward. Your body looks less defined. And that happens because this is not only about weight gain, it is also about a shift in body composition. As the years go by, especially during menopause, a woman can lose muscle while gaining abdominal fat. So the body changes, even when the scale does not seem to fully reflect it. And here's a very important point. Belly fat is not just a cosmetic issue. It is not only about the little pouch you see in the mirror, or the frustration of clothes fitting differently. Abdominal fat, especially visceral fat, is metabolically more dangerous. Unlike fat that sits more superficially under the skin, visceral fat builds up around the organs and actively influences inflammation and hormone signaling throughout the body. In other words, it does not just sit there, it interferes. That means when your belly starts growing after menopause, the problem may be much bigger than simply looking out of shape. This kind of fat is linked to insulin resistance, difficulty controlling blood sugar, worsening metabolic health, higher cardiovascular risk, and a greater tendency to store fat in the liver. That is why so many women feel like their bodies have become more sensitive, slower, and harder to manage during this phase. It is not in your head, it is physiology. Another major factor behind this change is the gradual loss of muscle mass. And that happens quietly. Muscle is not just about strength, movement, and support. It also plays a big role in how many calories your body burns throughout the day. The more muscle you maintain, the higher your resting energy expenditure tends to be. When muscle mass begins to decline, your body becomes more economical. It burns less energy over the course of the day. And that means an eating pattern that seemed fine for years may stop working now, even if you are not doing anything extreme. This is one reason so many women say the same thing. I'm eating about the same, but now everything goes straight to my belly. And honestly, that feeling has some truth behind it. Not because your body is betraying you, but because it is operating under a new hormonal and metabolic reality. Menopause does not just change your cycle. It changes the way your body responds to food, exercise, stress, and recovery. And you cannot talk about menopause without talking about sleep, because poor sleep is one of the most overlooked parts of this whole picture. Many women start sleeping worse during this phase, whether because of hot flashes, waking up during the night, anxiety, mental overload, or simply because the body no longer settles the way it used to. The problem is that bad sleep does not only affect your mood the next day, it also disrupts signals related to hunger, fullness, stress, muscle recovery, and metabolism. The result is a body that feels more tired, more inflamed, and more likely to store fat, especially around the abdomen. Stress matters too, and not just the obvious emotional kind. There is a chronic wear and tear that many women carry without even realizing how much it is affecting them. Constant mental load, ongoing worry, the feeling of always having to manage something, all of that keeps the body in a state of tension that makes metabolic balance even harder. And when that gets layered on top of hormonal changes, muscle loss, and poor sleep, the belly is often one of the first places where the imbalance starts to show. That is why the real question is not just, how do I lose belly fat? The real question is, why has my body started favoring this kind of fat storage now? Once you understand that answer, everything changes. Because it stops feeling like a blind fight against the mirror and starts becoming a smarter strategy to correct the internal conditions pushing your body in the wrong direction. The truth is, many women try to handle this phase with the same methods that worked at 30 or 40. They eat less, restrict more, rely only on light walking, cut too much food, and expect their midsection to respond the way it used to. But the body now needs a different kind of support. It needs an approach that respects the biology of this stage. You cannot punish your body and expect it to cooperate. You have to teach it how to respond again. And the good news is this: menopause belly is not a life sentence. It is a sign that something has changed, but it can also respond when you start addressing the right things. A woman's body can still change, improve, and regain ground well after 50. But the real path is not found in miracle promises. It is found in understanding what is happening inside your body and using that knowledge to your advantage. In the next block, I am going to show you what really makes a difference when it comes to reducing belly fat in a smart and sustainable way. The nutrition changes that matter most during this phase. Why strength training becomes so important after 50. How sleep affects your progress more than most people realize. And when it is worth looking deeper into issues like insulin resistance, thyroid problems, fatty liver, and other changes that may be keeping your waistline inflamed and resistant. Now we get to the part that matters most: what you can actually do to start reducing this belly fat after 50, especially during menopause. And I want to be very clear with you. The answer is not extreme solutions, crash diets, or fast results promises. What really works is changing the internal environment that is encouraging your body to store this fat in the first place. When that environment changes, your body starts responding in a much smarter way. The first step is to look at food differently, not with guilt, not with panic, and definitely not with the idea that you need to eat almost nothing if you want your waistline back. That kind of strategy may seem to work for a few days, but it comes at a cost. When a woman gets stuck in a cycle of severe restriction, she often ends up losing even more muscle, feeling hungrier, becoming more tired, and making her metabolism even less efficient. In other words, it creates the exact opposite of what she needs during this stage of life. After menopause, food has to do more than just reduce calories. It has to help stabilize blood sugar, reduce hunger spikes, support muscle mass, improve fullness, and calm metabolic inflammation. In practical terms, that means building meals around real nourishment, with enough protein, enough fiber, and foods that help your energy stay more stable throughout the day. The mature body tends to respond much better to consistency and nutrient density than to constant swings between overeating and deprivation. That is why it makes such a difference to cut back on ultra-processed foods, excess sugar, refined flour products, and the kinds of snack foods that seem harmless but quietly throw your appetite and energy off track. This is not about living in food fear. It is about recognizing that certain patterns make your body more inflamed, more unstable, and more likely to store fat in the abdominal area. The more your routine revolves around highly refined, low-satiety foods, the harder it becomes to regain control over hunger, energy, and body composition. Instead, your foundation has to become more strategic. Adequate protein helps preserve lean mass and supports fullness. Fiber helps with blood sugar control, digestion, and longer-lasting satisfaction after meals. Healthy fats also play an important role because they help meals feel more satisfying and reduce the urge to graze all day. When a woman starts eating with that kind of structure, the body no longer feels like it is bouncing between extremes. And there is one detail here that many people completely miss. A woman in menopause does not just need to lose weight. She needs to improve body composition. That means reducing fat without sacrificing muscle. And that is exactly why simply eating less does not solve the whole problem. The goal is not to become a smaller, weaker, more exhausted version of yourself. The goal is to build a body that is metabolically stronger, more functional, and more protected. This brings us to the second step, and maybe the most overlooked of all, strength training. Many women still believe that walking is enough to fix menopause belly. Walking is excellent. It supports heart health, helps mood, improves circulation, reduces sedentary time, and absolutely deserves a place in your routine. But by itself, it often does not give your body the kind of stimulus it needs to rebuild what is most often lost with age: muscle mass. Muscle? If you truly want to change your body composition after 50, strength training needs to become part of your life. It does not matter whether that means gym workouts, dumbbells at home, resistance bands, machines, bodyweight exercises, or a combination of all of those. What matters is that there is real resistance, real effort, and some form of progression over time. Your muscles need a reason to stay, and when they do not get that signal, the body slowly lets that tissue go. The less muscle you have, the easier it becomes to store fat, especially around the midsection. Strength training is one of the most powerful tools for women in this stage of life because it directly addresses one of the biggest vulnerabilities of menopause: the loss of muscle and the decline in body composition. It helps preserve and rebuild lean mass, supports energy expenditure, improves strength, stability, and independence, supports blood sugar control, and even helps protect bone health, which is also critical after menopause. It is not an exaggeration to say that for many women, this is the turning point between just trying to lose weight and actually transforming the body. That does not mean you need to train recklessly or push yourself into exhaustion. It simply means your body needs more than comfort if you want it to change. It needs challenge, applied with safety and consistency. 2, 3, maybe 4 sessions a week, depending on your condition and schedule, can already start making a major difference. The key is to move beyond the belief that gentle, repetitive effort alone will solve a problem that involves muscle loss, hormonal shifts, and metabolic resistance. Alongside strength training, cardio still has real value. Brisk walking, cycling, dancing, swimming, or any activity that raises your energy expenditure and improves your cardiovascular fitness can be extremely helpful. The best approach is usually not choosing between strength and cardio. It is combining them. One helps protect and rebuild. The other supports heart health, increases daily movement, and complements the process. When those two elements work together, your body has a much better chance of responding well. But there is a third pillar that many women try to ignore, even when their bodies are clearly asking for help: sleep. You can eat better. You can exercise. You can try really hard. But if your sleep is broken, part of your metabolism will be broken too. And this may be one of the quietest reasons why so many women feel like they are doing everything right and still not seeing the changes they want around their waistline. Poor sleep changes the way your body handles hunger, fullness, stress, muscle recovery, and hormonal regulation. A bad night does not just affect your mood the next morning. It also changes your energy to move, your patience to stay consistent, and your tendency to look for comfort in food. When that pattern repeats for weeks or months, the body shifts into a state that is much less supportive of fat loss and much more likely to favor abdominal fat storage. During menopause, this can become even worse because of hot flashes, frequent waking, anxiety, light sleep, and in some cases, sleep disorders, like sleep apnea, that go unnoticed for a long time. That is why treating sleep like an afterthought is a mistake. Sleep is part of your metabolic strategy. It is recovery. It is regulation. It is part of the treatment. Improving your sleep environment, reducing overstimulation at night, creating more regular sleep timing, and paying attention to signs of non-restorative sleep can already make a real difference. And when symptoms continue, it is worth looking deeper. The fourth step is learning how to reduce stress in a practical way, not just talking about it. Chronic stress keeps the body in a state of alert that undermines rest, recovery, and consistency. This is not about trying to live a perfect life with no problems. It is about reducing the level of tension that has become normal. Sometimes what a woman needs is not more discipline. It is less overload. A woman who feels mentally drained, constantly tense, and emotionally stretched thin is far more likely to operate on autopilot. And autopilot rarely leads to the choices that create lasting change. Creating small moments of regulation throughout the week can help more than most people think. That might mean an unhurried walk, a few quiet minutes, slower breathing, a relaxing hobby, or a more predictable evening routine. The goal is not to turn self-care into a cliché. The goal is to lower the body's level of alarm so it can stop living in constant wear and tear. An exhausted system does not respond well to almost any strategy. And finally, there is one step many women postpone for far too long: checking whether something deeper is helping drive this persistent belly fat. Sometimes the issue is not only habits. Sometimes there is insulin resistance, prediabetes, diabetes, fatty liver, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, thyroid dysfunction, sleep disorders, or other metabolic changes that need to be identified. When the waistline increases and the body starts to feel more inflamed, a proper medical checkup stops being optional and becomes protective. Getting labs done, tracking your health markers, and understanding what is happening metabolically is not overreacting. It is maturity. It is smart. It is the kind of step that keeps you from wasting time fighting the symptom while missing the cause. Because in many cases, stubborn belly fat is not stubborn because your body is being difficult. It is reflecting an internal environment that still needs attention. And I want to close this block by reminding you of something important. You do not need to wait for a dramatic transformation to know you are moving in the right direction. Sometimes the earliest signs show up before the mirror fully catches up. Your clothes start fitting better. Your stomach feels less bloated in the morning. Your energy improves. Your hunger feels more stable. Your sleep starts getting deeper. Your body feels less heavy. All of that counts as real progress. After 50, especially during menopause, losing belly fat is not about suffering more. It is about acting with more precision, less punishment, less guesswork, less panic, more strategy, more muscle, more metabolic balance, more recovery, more consistency. Once you understand that, you stop fighting your body and finally start working with it.